So remission of type 2 diabetes. What is it? What does that mean? Okay, so I was a 6.6 A1C and I got my A1C back down to 5.1. But in the process of having a conversation with a doctor during a physical that I was taking, we got on the topic of my A1C. And I told her that I had brought it back down from a 6.6 to 5.1. Well, she made the comment that, oh, so your diabetes is in remission. And so what I just heard her say is that you're still sick. It's just in remission, even though the number is well below the normal range. And so I realized there's a huge gap between the metabolic condition once you have reversed your type 2 diabetes and brought it back down to a normal range and the terminology used by the medical community. So why is it remission and not reversal? So consider this. So I was 294 pounds at my heaviest weight ever in my life. I was obese, but I lost over 100 pounds. I got back down to 192 at my peak. And the question is this: at the weight that I'm at now, which is in the mid 190s, am I obese, but my obesity is just in remission, or am I at a normal, healthy weight? So it just points out the terminology used by the medical community and the biological reality. So why do they call it remission and not reversal? Because obviously, if I've lost 100 pounds, the obesity has been resolved. Why the different terminology between the two? 20 years from now, if I maintain a 5.1 A1C, am I 20 years in remission, or has that been resolved? Clinically, no, not according to the medical community. But why do they do that? Well, you have to consider the fact that being in the medical community, you are a hot button for a lawsuit. People pass out lawsuits like your local grocery store pass out grocery receipts. So they have to be cautious in the terminology that they use. So despite being metabolically healthy, if you look on my chart that doctor has, it's going to say that I am in remission. So I went and had blood work done again about 7 months later, and my A1C was at 5.2. So within the margin of error of the technology, there is zero change. And the reason that's important, because once you start reversing your A1C from that 6.5 or higher back down to a normal range, you have to stay within that range for a total of 3 months without medication. Then you are technically in remission. So my A1C has been normal since then, but on the paperwork, I am technically in remission. But here's the thing. Once I reverse it and I got it back down into the normal range, life looked completely different. I slept better. I had more energy. These are things that I hadn't felt in years. So when you reverse your A1C, celebrate the fact that you're healthy again. So whether it's remission or metabolically healthy, those are word semantics. It doesn't matter. You're healthy. So how do you get A1C into remission? Well, to turn your A1C around and get it back into remission, you have to reverse engineer what got you there. Because here's the thing. Type 2 diabetes doesn't happen in a vacuum. It takes years. And in my course, the Math 30 course, I go through my medical records back years and walk through the numbers to show you exactly how I got there, because it doesn't happen overnight. It's happening for years, if not decades, before you get the diagnosis from your doctor. This is something that had been happening in my body for years. And so in the course, I walk through my medical records to show you how it happens. And so with that, I was on a mission to understand, how do I fix it? So I reverse engineered how I got there. How did I get there? Food consumption. Type 2 diabetes is a product of food consumption. That's where it starts. And then there's a cascading of events that happen that leads to that. Signs that we never see, I didn't see until I understood the process. And it boiled down to food consumption. So if food consumption got you there, food consumption gets you back. That's how I got back to 5.1. Food consumption. The wrong foods got me there. The right foods will get you back. And if you want to learn more about the food consumption, be sure to watch this video. So I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. We will see you in the next video. Bye for now.